जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। हरे कृष्णा। Nama Prabhu ki jai. Welcome all of you for the summary session of Soulful Japa, session 10. And today we'll be discussing about the cue card number 4. We finished 1, presencing the Lord. 2, applying faith. And 3 was begging mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please note that the third cue card also, I changed the name Divine Dependency to begging for mercy. Any word that requires thinking should not be used in the cue card. Then what is divine, what is dependency, all these things should come. So I changed that. Sorry, we are improving. Doesn't matter. We may have to take one more printout. But it's come out very well now. And also in all the cue cards, I used to write mercy round, this round, forgiveness round. That round I have removed. Already mala is there. Okay. On the first line, the mala is already being told as mala. So that way, some changes I made over yesterday, day before yesterday on the cue cards, which I think I have not yet posted. Now, anyway, so today we are going to discuss about the fourth cue card, which is about heartfully welcoming the Nama Prabhu. We all have discussed sufficiently how chanting is welcoming the Lord. You chant to welcome the Aprakrita Nama, and hearing is for associating with the Nama Prabhu. If you become a servant of the Nama Prabhu, faithfully serving the Nama Prabhu every day, then Nama Prabhu, just like the deity stays at home, at our home, Nama Prabhu stays in our heart. And daily, when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, He manifests on our tongue and empowers the sound that I generate. And that sound becomes omnipotent Shakti Aveshanama. And that Shakti Aveshanama I attentively hear. And in this way, from the tongue to the ears to the mind, chittam, everything gets purified repeatedly by repeating this cycle of calling out the name of the Lord, manifesting the Lord on the tongue as a Shakti Aveshavatara, and then hearing the Nama. So, chanting is welcoming the Lord. That's why I said heartfully welcome the Lord. For what purpose you are welcoming the Lord? Because I want to associate with the Lord. So the desire to associate with the Lord. What is associating with the Lord? Lord is in what form? Shabda Rupa Avatara. So Lord, association with the Lord means hearing delightfully, joyfully the name that is manifest on the tongue. Now, these two things, chanting and hearing, is a key activity in the foreground that constitutes japa. So this is actual service. Service is chanting, hearing, tasking. Beat after beat, the service you are offering is chanting, hearing, tasking. So that serving should be done delightfully. Delightfully means what? You can do something with delight, or you can do with as a burden. Oh, I have to chant 16 rounds. Like a burden also you can do. Or you can do like an obligation. Okay, with that obligation to Guru, something is better. Even better than that is to heartfully, delightfully chant and hear the holy name of the Lord. The key bhavana that will make us offer delight to chanting and hearing is a simple realization and a faith that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, who is a Surya of Satchidananda, Himself is on my tongue, and He is empowering the sound I generate. So therefore, this round has to come after Shraddha. We have Shraddha, we have presence the Lord. I have told you how to presence the Lord. You can presence the Lord only if you feel the mind of the Lord. If you feel the mind of Nama Prabhu, you can presence the Nama Prabhu. Once you feel the presence of Nama Prabhu, then you have to have faith, Shraddha, applied faith, that is ocean of Satchidananda, and my attention on the Nama, Shakti Avasha Nama, will be a conduit to receive the mercy that is so freely willing to distribute, just like the sun is freely distributing sunlight. Whoever wants to catch it can catch it. So that Shraddha is required, that there is an opportunity for me by being attentive to touch the ocean of Satchidananda, Surya of Satchidananda, Shraddha. So if the Shraddha is settled, just imagine a small, a VIP whom you adore and admire and idolize come to your house. Will you be delightful or not? You will be delightful. You will do everything delightfully to please him. And to please him here means chanting and hearing. So delightfully you should chant and hear. I'm so happy. Heartfully. Hristam and Ahlada. Hristam means heartfully welcoming. Ahlada means feeling great bliss in associating with none other than Krishna himself. So this is both round 4 and round 5, Mala 5, 4 and Mala 5, both are about Hristam Ahlada, round 1 and 2. It's a delight. Earlier I used to use Hristam Ahlada, I used to use the word joy in the earlier sessions, but I changed it to delight because it is just like multiplying the delights. 4th round, you do with delight, you offer delight from your background. Why would you offer delight from the background? Because behind that there is a thought feeling. Delight is a thought feeling. But behind that, there is a whole reasoning, just like I explained now. The most infinitely important VIP has come into your house, your heart, your tongue, to your presence. And then tell me if if a neighbor comes to your house, if you delightfully treat him or her, they'll be more happy, or the neighbor comes to your house, you be very stiff. Okay, tell business, what's a business? So which will be relishable for the neighbor? For all common sense. So Krishna, Nama Prabhu is a person. I am a person. I should not simply chant ritualistically. We are calling out the name. Name is the most closest to everybody's heart. Name of Krishna is very close to Krishna's heart. And you are uttering that name because you do not have the background contemplation done enough, and you do not know what to contemplate upon. Therefore, you are not able to generate the delight. Therefore, pre-japa contemplation is required for every bhavana, and for this bhavana is no less. For this, you have to read module 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 is about tasking, 4 is about serving delight. Serving delight is delightfully chanting, delightfully hearing, and delightfully tasking. When to the mindful japa, which is concurrent chanting come hearing, when you add delight in chanting, delight in hearing, and delight in tasking, it becomes mindful plus delightful japa. Earlier delightful, in earlier sessions I used the word spiritful japa. But this is much better because soulful is also spiritful. So please note that in my earlier module also I changed that to delightful. So there is a mindful japa, mindless japa, mindful japa, delightful japa, soulful japa. You see, there is a difference between these, the bhavana for and for the soulful japa bhavana. This is a bhavana that is completely, it is we taking pleasure. In other words, it's your free will. Krishna gives something you are not, doesn't matter. Krishna reciprocates or something, doesn't matter. From your side, whenever I chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, I know the supremely loving Lord. Forget about him being the VIP and all, because we are more into the mood of serving the Lord in the footsteps of his intimate devotees in Goloka Vrindavana. So VIP is Narayana conception. Leave that. Our conception is, instead of feeling he is a infinitely important VIP, you contemplate that he is infinitely loving personality. There is nobody more sweet, more loving, more kind than Krishna. That loving person has come on your tongue. That means love includes compassion. So much compassion he has got, he wants to take me back to Godhead. Why? Because we are all his children. Little willingness you show, he is ready to come. So that is the subject of contemplation. How the Lord is so loving. You hear more and more about Krishna's Leelas from Srila Prabhupada, from his books. Here, you get attracted to Krishna's loving nature. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has got two aspects to him. One aspect is his Aishwarya aspect, and another aspect is his Madhurya aspect. Please understand. Krishna means two aspects. Both are transcendental. Some have inclination for one, they have inclination for the other. Not that both are separate. One can include the other. So, Madhurya aspect, Aishwarya aspect and Madhurya aspect. Aishwarya aspect is his power, opulence. What is his creation? Aham sarvasya prabho mata sarvam pravartate. Is Aishwarya. What is this brilliance, brilliant design of this material existence? Everything. That is Aishwarya aspects. Then there is Madhurya aspect. Madhurya means sweetness. Aishwarya and Madhurya. There is a sweetness about this person, Krishna. Irrespective of he is God or no God, leave that side. As a Vikti, as a person, you should see his Leelas. His love, his compassion, his fairness, his equality, his unconditional relationship with the jivas, his respect for the jivas, allowing them to be in the material world and try their luck for independent Satchidananda Rasa. This is the kind of person we are talking about. And you take one step towards him, he takes 10 steps towards you. And he is seated in your heart as Paramatma. This original source of Paramatma, Bhagavan, himself is appearing on my tongue. If this bhavana, if sufficient contemplation, thought, feeling has been developed by repeated contemplation. Contemplation, what is it? Contemplation means cycle of read, remember, then think, feel, and then memorize the experience. Memorize that feeling. First you have to read. Then close a book. You have to remember on your own. Now you reflect. What you remember, again you reflect means you feel that thoughts, feel those thoughts. So slowly that thought starts developing a feeling. So feeling and thought gets merged slowly with more and more contemplation, so that, okay, the one cycle of contemplation, then you memorize that experience of feeling, thought feeling you experience. First cycle of thought feeling may be not ripe. Then second cycle, third cycle. Maybe after, first time you hear Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now 10 years are over. So many things have happened and it has become a thought feeling into you. When I say Krishna, you think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Your bhavana automatically comes. So soulful japa is not simply how you do japa during the time. during japa time. That is only about mindful japa and delightful japa. Please understand. At the most delightful japa. Soulful japa, if you have no bhavana, if you do not know Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, etc., you cannot do soulful japa. However, mind you, for the sake of tattva, you have to understand. Even if you don't, take a man in the North Pole. He has no Prabhupada's book, nothing. Teach him mindful japa. You don't have to tell him Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead also. This is what the evidence is saying from the scriptures. These bhavanas will automatically come top to down. Means it will descend from the nama, this bhavana. Then one may ask, why are we bothered about this bhavana? About this bhavanas? Yes, we should bother more about mindful concurrent chanting and hearing. As I always warned you, you don't stop hearing and contemplate. It's not very, very good japa. Japa time you should hear. Because from hearing, that bhavana will descend. Who is Krishna will descend in our heart. Krishna's loving nature also will manifest in our heart. Now why are we doing this Sadbhavana Japa? Our mind is full of feelings for something or the other. Our material mind is full of feelings. So I have to direct that so that my attention, it helps me in my helps me to hear if I only have feeling. If I'm feeling with thinking, then my hearing will go away. So if I feel, it will hold my attention on that. If I feel for Nama Prabhu, it will hold my attention there. Number one. Number two, by having all this bhavana, by contemplation, we are actually speeding up our awakening of Sadbhavana from our heart. Sadbhavana from the Nama Prabhu. Soul's sentiments, transcendental sentiments. Remember in the beginning I have told you what is self-purification. The mind, my spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence, spiritual ego is all sleeping now. When my material mind and material intelligence becomes purified, spiritualized ego, becomes spiritualized mind, becomes spiritualized intelligence, then my subtle body, my chitta, vibrates in the same frequency as my spiritual ego, spiritual mind and spiritual intelligence, and that will awaken my spiritual sentiments. My spiritual ego as a servant of Krishna. Now you have to tell yourself, you have to contemplate yourself and think that I am the servant of Krishna. Very good, nothing wrong, you should do. This is called practice, meditation. But ultimately, you telling yourself I am servant of Krishna is not the Sevak Bhavana. Ultimately, for pure chanting. Ultimately, for pure chanting, you don't have to tell that you are the Nama Sevaka. You are that, you will feel that, you will be that. So in the first few modules I have talked about this, bhavanas, and I raised this question, is it not artificial that we are offering these bhavanas? Then I quoted Bhaktivinoda Thakur, separating this manobhavana with sadbhavana. The bhavanas that we give now, largely it's from the material mind, not that 100% it's from the material mind, otherwise we wouldn't be devotees. Somewhere little spiritual awakening is there, some spiritual bhavana is also there now. But the food is not in the full force. If it is a full force, spiritual bhavana is there, we would be not attracted to anything in this material world. But there is some attraction. That is why when you are chanting today, you have some bhavana, spiritual bhavana. That means soul is awakened to some degree. But when you continuously when you engage in sound embrace of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sound embrace means hearing. When you hear, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Uninterruptedly when you hear, is a Surya of Satchidananda and Ananda, Satchit Ananda. Ananda Rasa is there. Loving relationship, everything becomes awakened. Sat becomes awakened. Sat, that I am my Sevak Bhavan. My being a servant of the Nama is automatically awakened. So you are, see, now that you have attended so many sessions, it has to be, all these things have to be, they're very simple, they have to be very clear why you are chanting and why that hearing is very important. And how, if you only focus on hearing, then your doing will go somewhere else. Even though hearing is very important, you have to be doing. Doing in the lead, as I gave you the example, chanting is like the king and hearing is like the queen. Lead attention is Kriya Chesta. If you only try to hear, your Kriya Chesta will go somewhere else. So Kriya Chesta is important. Only if you cook a food, you can eat the food, no? Ultimately, you will say, hey, eating is important. Similarly, we may make statement, hearing is most important, hearing is most important, hearing is most important. And you sit there, you want to eat, but you are not cooked. Will you get anything? No. So what is first? Cooking and then eating. Similarly, what is first? Welcoming the Nama Prabhu and then hearing. So this Kriya Chesta, doing Chesta, welcoming the Nama, is calling out to the Nama, is the leading attention, and hearing is the following attention. All this we have nicely discussed in several sessions. From different angles we have that is what constitutes so many video sessions that we have had. In each of those video sessions, takeaways, 2-3 points, your japa quality will change. You have to speak so much because it's introductory. But once you get to know of it, all these videos, each video will have 2-3 points, main points. That's all. Similarly, you read all my modules, 2-3 times you read. After that, it is only, in 10 fingers you can summarize. 10 points. That's all that is required. So, anyway, we are coming to, there is, somebody may say, see, unless I don't know, I want to be, I am being artificially delightful. What do you mean this, Prabhu? Can I be artificially delightful? Yes, you cannot be artificially delightful. What you're saying is right. You have to have reasons for being delightful. Simply take the cue card and you cannot be delightful. Unless you have some even little reason is it there. God himself is there enough for delight. You don't need so many things to be delightful. Simple faith. Krishna himself is on my tongue. I'm very happy, delightful. And what an opportunity. Just like somebody says, here it is, you put your plug into this plug hole, you will get whatever you need. All your life is perfected. Just put your life plug into this plug point. What is that? Hearing. How much delightful one should be if we understand these things. with the delightful about the opportunity to hear Nama Prabhu. So much so that from him, give that quote, from him, just by hearing, without any extra endeavor, all the leelas of the Lord is manifest. When the chanting is performed offenselessly, Lord will automatically reveal himself to the view of the chanter. When the chanting is performed offenselessly, the Lord will automatically reveal himself to the view of the chanter. The chanter therefore has to concentrate on hearing the vibration without extra endeavor on his part. The Lord will automatically appear. You are not engaged in some small activity. You are engaged in the highest activity of the highest self-realization. Sometimes we ourselves don't realize because it is so simple, and you chant some names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You see some others are doing so much yoga and so much tapasya and so much of austerity and eating less and sleeping less and what not, oh, many types of yogas and yogis in this country. Nicely engaged in different services of the Lord, in the mission of Nama Prabhu, and chanting soulful japa, associating with the Lord himself. And it is said here that the Lord will reveal himself automatically to view of the chanter. So just because this chanting is looking like a simple activity, please don't feel that, this is not the highest, this is the highest yoga. And the Lord is so merciful, therefore I am not a yogi, I am a bhogi. I am not a yogi. Yet I have become a yogi because of the Nama Prabhu. I have not struggled to control my senses, but my senses have got itself controlled. I have not tried to climb the staircase, but I have been pulled up by the association of the holy name. So such is the good fortune of those who are able to have faith in the holy name and every day do seva for the holy name, take association of the holy name. So it is not artificial to take delight. Moment you know all these things, that who is the person who is there on your tongue, what are the benefits that you are going to get. Okay, talk like that, talk in material terms only. What are the benefits that you are, because our mind is always like that. What is in it for me only, we ask always. No problem. What is there in it for you? Ocean of Satchidananda is right there. Here you can just plug in. So this is about delight. Tomorrow I will be talking about tasking. I kept that separately. Delight in tasking. But these two things, delight in chanting, delight in hearing, simple paradigm that the infinitely, unconditionally loving person you can never find in existence anywhere. Everybody's love condition is there. What is there in it for me, he will ask, and you will have to make that clear. This there for you, this for me. So relationship happens in the material world, jiva to jiva, Krishna to jiva. Lord does not ask anything. Lord does not ask anything that you cannot afford to give. Lord is asking your heart. Your heart has gone away from him. Your heart has gone into so many Maya varieties, Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about two kinds of Maya. Avarnatmika Shakti and Prekshepatmika Shakti. The covering potency and Prekshepa, that is bewildering potency. First, Maya covers you from Krishna. Hey, you are not connected to Krishna. You are on your own. And then gives you the idea, that lusty idea, independent enjoyment. And all the spiritual varieties are displayed before you. But it is not really spiritual. It looks like spiritual. This material world looks like spiritual world. These bodies look like spiritual body. Now, why do you say it look like? Because none of us actually think of, your bone, your skeleton, your liver, your heart, and inside blood pumping in. Do you think when you shake hand with somebody? You don't. Because you want to experience Satchidananda hand. Satchidananda hand, there is no blood circulation, no inside bone and all these things. You are Satchidananda. You are homogeneously spiritual. Chinmaya Sharira you have. That is the reason nobody likes to think of the reality. People say, okay, I am a truth seeker. A truth seeker, you should be, the whole body, everything, you should not identify at all with your body. That is the first mistruth that you are thinking, that you are this body. Because body is something else. Does the body have an identity? Can body speak to you? Body cannot speak to you. You can speak to yourself. That's what we do. The body does not speak and say, I am you. Does it say? This body cannot speak anything more than this table can speak. But we all believe that body speaks. When somebody else speaks, you think that body is speaking. This is illusion. Right under our nose, this illusion is. The truth is right there, but we don't see that. That's the height of illusion. Therefore, there is a Shakti required for that. Maya Shakti is required. And that Maya Shakti can be pushed away only by Krishna Shakti. Nama Shakti, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So such is a great opportunity to be delighted about, and simple things. And once it comes, you have to engage in loving service, offering respect, offering preeti. Nothing is not wanting anything else. Some guest comes and you have to run around, you have to cook something for him, you have to get this, get that, and all these things, get him a shawl, get him a garland. No, not all those things. Krishna wants a garland of bhavanas when he comes into your heart. Presence him, presencing his mind. Welcome him, presence him. That's the first garland. Apply Shraddha. That is the second garland to Namaprabhu. Delightfully depend on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to offenselessly receive this personality. He is too big. He is a cause of all causes. I don't know. Full of offenses. I do not know what attitude I should be before him. What all I should do to him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, nothing, chant and hear. Offenselessly. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeking the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then offer delightful chanting. Offer bhavana of delight to the foreground chanting, come hearing. That's the next garland. And one more next garland here, delightfully here, one round. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. to teach our mind one by one we are doing. Ultimately, I told you, all these bhavanas, they may not be in the order. They integrate themselves into like a musical orchestra, into integrated feeling, blissful feeling of relationship with Nama Prabhu. So like that, all the 16 rounds are like offering 16 garlands to Nama Prabhu. That's all he's asking. That's all. I don't want anything else. I want bhavanas. So that is the idea behind moving from mindful japa, concurrent chanting, come hearing to delightful. On the delightful chanting, reasons to be delightful, I'll record in module 90, 91, 92, 93. In module 93 and 94, I'll merge together. I'll talk about delight, the summary points, so that you can read that and get charged when you want to offer that round. Or on whole day, whole 16 rounds you want to do it delight, you do it. That is also, many are following that, and I have a lot of responses from devotees. I have not been able to post any feedback or questions. I've been too busy with these things. Reorganizing my, all the japa modules, renumbering them, reorganizing as per flow of thought. A lot of changes are there. Sorry for if anybody is following all these things, they'll suddenly see a lot of changes. In a few days, you will start relishing it. I'll close it, the smooth flow of all the modules. Okay, so any questions now? I feel very eager to do 16 rounds, and few other days I don't sleep. I sleep, eat and read Srila Prabhupada text regularly. Still some days, for no apparent reason, I feel tepid to do my 16 rounds. Is this natural? Yes, it is natural, because our mind is governed by the three modes of material nature and the waves of the three modes. Kala decides the ways according to your time. You see, once you have taken birth, time runs. As per each moment time, Kala has to load some things in your head, in your mind. Do this, do that, enjoy this, and then, because it's as per your destiny, all these things. Or you have to suffer something, Kala will present problems in life. So continuously you have to keep responding to Kala. A force is acting upon us, we should remember that. And that force is nothing but your own past. So therefore, ups and downs are bound to be there in our mood, in our consciousness. You should not be disturbed by that. You simply have to execute the chanting of the Lord as my foremost spiritual duty, as my spiritual commitment to Srila Prabhupada. And this is for my soul. Body may like, body may not like, but I had to do my 16 rounds. It's all about, again, relationship. How can I, you should tell yourself, how can I not, it's a, if you talk to somebody, say, I'll give you this, you can't go back on those words. If you've taken a commitment, I will do 16 rounds to the Nama Prabhu and to Krishna and to Srila Prabhupada, do it. And if you are not initiated, then okay, luckily I am not initiated. So sometimes I can chant, sometimes I don't have to chant. It is not that if you are initiated and take that burden, the gifts is different. You cannot have the same gift. You cannot be non-committal to Nama Prabhu. Huh? Some benefit you will get, not some benefit, lot of benefit you will get. But if you want the benefit of going back to Krishna, you have to surrender to a pure devotee who is a Nama Sevak. Follow his instruction of chanting 16 rounds. Receive the Nama that he is worshipping. He will give you the Nama he is worshipping. At the time of initiation, the Nama of the spiritual master is transcendentally is delivered to the heart of the devotees. After that, how you deal with Nama, how you respect the Nama, offenselessly, offensively, disrespectfully, carelessly, non-committed way, you lose all the good fortune. Ajamila called out Narayana in anxiety of death. That was a material anxiety, and yet he was saved. Could we dovetail our material happiness and sadness during chanting on Krishna? You hear Krishna's name. Only your bhavana wise, if you want to give your difficulties, happiness and sadness, who else is there? You give, no problem. But don't start talking to the Lord about the details of your problems. Then it is not bhavana. Then you are stopped hearing. If you can hear and feel, you feel surrender. Surrender your problems to the Nama. No, what is there? Don't do anything. Who else will go to? Don't be all restricted like that. Lord is the closest to you. Once you are worshipping the Lord Nama, then who else is there for you other than the Nama Prabhu? The attitude is very important. Don't, get into an attitude of he is somebody else, I am somebody else, like XYZ you go to and ask me, he has got all the powers to solve my problem. This is not the approach, this is not our relationship with God. Our relationship with God is I am yours. I have nobody else. So without thinking, if you can offer your daily happiness and sadness to the Lord, wonderful, do it. Do it. Lord will reciprocate. But not without hearing Him. So foreground attention should not be disturbed. It is very much possible. You see? Because suppose you have some very deep problems. You don't define your problems. And then you are chanting Hare Krishna. Foreground chanting and hearing, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You are taking shelter for that sadness in the Nama. Very good, do it. It's a relationship with Nama. This is called situational surrender. Existential surrender is different. When it comes to that, I'll do this situational surrender. Today's situation is very bad in my life. So a lot of feelings are there. Helplessness, everything. Don't think about that. At the root, you feel about your helplessness. Do your 16 rounds but chanting and hearing with helplessness. You will find miracles happening. Nama Prabhu responding. Not expecting anything, but feeling that you alone are my solace, my Lord. I am burning in this ocean of samsara. So many problems are coming. I am burning in the ocean of samskara. Who else is there? That's all. Just feel and chant. You will feel so much relief. Okay. Since we are saying Panchatattva mantra at the beginning of each mala, is it same as divine dependency? We are begging for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Yes, you are right. That's exactly the point I brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this dependency round, and in the module I have explained also that chanting of Panchatattva by introduced by Srila Prabhupada is for this, to help us in offenseless chanting of Krishna's name. It is a fact that Maya enters through mind always. Then how will we come to know that is Maya? We can't conclude that mind always says wrong things. Please clarify. That's why there are two things. See, intelligence is above mind. Okay? Intelligence is above mind. Number one. One part of the mind can be above the other part of the mind. Remember the concept of mind slices. You can have a controlling mind. You can have a controlling mind which controls lower minds. You can have, just like your Vaishnava feelings, what I should do, what I should not do. It's a Vaishnava mind. Then you have old Karmi mind. And this Vaishnava mind can control the Karmi mind. Old habits, all these things. So mind is a wonderful machine that way. So Maya enters through the mind only, not only mind, Maya enters through intelligence also, Maya enters through ego also. Always it, all three. But we have to take association from higher egos, our acharyas, our purva acharyas, sadhu. That is why association from them will means their mind, their higher ego, Vaishnava egos, higher intelligence, all this transcendental knowledge about Maya, everything, and higher mind, all Vaishnava feelings of bhakti. These things, when you have association, then you can push these things away. And you will be able to differentiate and see, oh, this is Maya. When you say delightful chanting, I just want to know how can we force delight into chanting if I am not experiencing delight experientially, just like I feel delight when I attend a nice kirtan program, or when I see the deities, or when I eat some nice prasadam, because I have a practical experience of it. So I don't have to mechanically force, so please let me know, unless I experience delight, how will I paste delight into my chanting so as to matter of duty, right now I am chanting, because I have promised to chant, I am in chanting irrespective of delight or no delight. Definitely, once you have promised delight or no delight, you should chant. But this particular question I have answered now early, few minutes earlier also. If you have to read what I have written, logically I have developed, I have raised this question in module 69, part 2, part 3, all those things. You read that. I have raised this question and I have answered this. Again I will tell you in short, just common sense. If you don't have faith that Krishna is on your tongue, it is very difficult to have delight. If you don't have faith that I am actually inviting the Lord by chanting, delightfully I should do, then you cannot do. So all this faith, that is why you need contemplation, pre-japa work you have to do. If I simply tell you, see, I am giving you instruction, simply be angry against that person. You will say, why Prabhu? I cannot be artificially be angry. Why? Then I'll give you 10 minutes explanation. Yes, I will not live in angry. Your question is like that now. It's a natural question. It looks artificial to me to be delightful about chanting. But if you know everything about chanting, it is not artificial. This whole session is about why you should be delightful, reasons. In the case of kirtan, in the case of prasadam, something gross is there. But here, in the place of gross, you need shraddha. Only you cannot see with your senses, that is all. But the Lord is on my tongue. Prasadam you can see with your eyes. Even prasadam also, if you want to taste prasadam, you want to delightfully taste prasadam with transcendental delight, you have to honor prasadam. Eating prasadam with the tongue, that is another delight. A heart should be delighted, not about the material taste. Heart should be delighted. The Lord is so kind, so merciful. His taste He has given. Like Nama incarnation, taste incarnation, no difference. I am touching Krishna. Every time you taste Krishna prasadam, you are actually touching Krishna. You should feel that by His costless mercy. That means you associate that wonderful. Of course, prasadam should be tasty also. We are not that elevated to feel the transcendental delight of prasadam. But please understand, there is a transcendental delight and there is. Similarly, singing kirtan. There is a transcendental delight and there is a, I won't say material delight, I would say delight for the material mind. If I sing nicely, I'll feel good. If somebody is singing without, this way, that way, and no raga, no this thing, nothing, all, then, your material system cannot take it. Just stop it, you will say, even if it is Hare Krishna. But the transcendental delight is something you will never say stop it. Do you know Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to, when he was, he wanted to teach his disciples that you have to learn how to take transcendental delight in kirtan and hearing. Sometimes he used to say the worst singer should come and sing kirtan. And he will relish equally. So good question you have raised. There's always one delight which is one part which is comfortable. Now we are talking about transcendental delight is originating from transcendental knowledge. Transcendental delight of prasadam is the entire prayer. Maha prasade govinde nama brahmana vaishnava supapunyam matam rajan. You just understand the meaning of that prayer. That is transcendental delight. Then you eat your tongue will have delight. That's it. But that tongue is nothing. That tongue delight is also very purifying. Very purifying. We are not ordinary. The spiritualized taste. So in any devotion survey, delight comes from backed with absolute thoughts, transcendental knowledge. Lot of shraddha is required because all these things, why your ordinary food, prasadam looks just like ordinary food. If a karmi asks you, why you are calling it prasadam, it's all in your head, yeah? It's the same thing. What I taste only you also taste. What is your answer? Your shraddha. Yes, beyond that there is a transcendental taste here. Hare Krishna, the ordinary sound. Yeah? What you are saying, all these things. Yes. I got shraddha that this is not what meets the eye. This sound is not simply what you hear with your ears. This food is not just ordinary food like any other food. These deity vigraha, they're not simply statues like any other statue. There's something beyond. The Guru trains you to see that beyond. For that you have to contemplate. If you don't contemplate, if you don't have bhavana when you stand before the deity, you will only see what matter sees. Similarly, if you don't hear from Srila Prabhupada, from the Shastras, the fact that the Lord is incarnating, what is the purpose of His coming, what is the mind of the Lord, and what is happening when you are chanting, all these things don't roll up into a bhavana. Why will you feel delightful? Definitely you will feel artificial. So I have raised this question and answered. You please read that. You will be happy to know that. Shraddha is very important. Okay? As compared to prasadam, something is there gross. What did I tell the other day? Kirtan seva you don't doze off. Prasada seva you don't doze off. Only one seva when you do, you doze off. What is that? Japa. For here, there is no gross component. You have to be transcendental to be delighted. You have to have a transcendental knowledge to be delighted. Therefore, japa is a kind of an unconditional seva. That is why for many people, God, I don't know, do it over 16 rounds are boring, they'll say. Correct? If you don't have transcendental understanding, then your perspective towards the nama is a material sound. Next. Achha. If I am not experiencing delight, same thing? Okay. So thank you very much for, so we will see day after tomorrow, Tuesday. And for those who are, I think before Tuesday I should be able to index the modules also. Till then you be patient, don't get confused, don't curse me. Suddenly some modules have disappeared and appeared somewhere else. So I'll do all that. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Nama Prabhu ki Jai.